Welcome to Activating and Adapting Your Risk Plan for Life. This is the SafeSimpleSound podcast, Insurance Edition, where our constitutional approach to financial planning creates both and solutions for the contradictions families face. I'm speaking with you today, drawing from our team's chartered financial consultant background and our S3 framework development. In today's episode, we're exploring a critical challenge in financial planning. How do you keep your plan alive and relevant without falling into common traps? This is the same topic we recently wrote about because we see a powerful contradiction emerge after a solid plan is built. On one hand, there's the set it and forget it trap, where a plan grows obsolete as life inevitably changes. On the other, there's the exhausting cycle of constant, anxiety-driven tinkering in reaction to every market headline or life event. Whether you have a detailed plan sitting in a binder, are in the process of creating one, or are just beginning to think about your family's long-term security, this episode will give you a clear, calm, and systematic process for making your plan a living, breathing guide for your life. We'll achieve this through our SafeSimpleSound approach to creating a living financial constitution. So let's start with a foundational truth. A brilliant financial plan that gathers dust in a drawer is no more useful than having no plan at all. This is a common challenge we observe. Families put in the hard work, the deep thinking, the emotional energy to create a plan that truly reflects their values. They build a powerful document. But then life gets busy. The document goes into the folder, the binder goes on the shelf, and the momentum stalls. This leads to that classic either-or dilemma we mentioned. The first path is neglect. The plan becomes a static relic, a snapshot of a life that no longer exists. Decisions that were sound 5 years ago may no longer be appropriate after a career change, a new child, or a shift in personal goals. This isn't a safe place to be, as your financial foundation can develop cracks without you even realizing it. The second path is the opposite extreme: constant, anxious meddling. Every news report about the economy, every conversation with a neighbor about their investments triggers a desire to change something. This approach is exhausting. It's driven by external noise rather than internal principles, and it often leads to decisions that undermine the long-term, sound strategy you worked so hard to build. At SafeSimpleSound, our constitutional framework resolves this contradiction. We propose a both-and solution. We believe your plan should be both stable in its principles and adaptable in its application. It shouldn't be a source of stress or a forgotten document. Instead, it should be what we call a living financial constitution. This is a guiding framework for your financial life that provides durable, long-term direction while also allowing for thoughtful adjustments as your life evolves. The key principle guiding this approach is what our framework calls time coexistence, the ability for your long-term vision and your present reality to exist in harmony. So how do we begin? The very first step in creating this living constitution is moving it from paper to reality. It's the activation phase. Drawing from our Chef C background at SafeSimpleSound, our approach emphasizes that the review and monitor step in financial planning isn't an afterthought. It is the most critical step for ensuring long-term financial security. Activation is where your plan's core principles, your financial preamble, are put into motion. In simple terms, this means taking the tangible steps to bring the plan to life. This could mean funding the new investment accounts you've decided to open, ensuring the insurance policies you've chosen are officially in force and the first premiums are paid, meeting with an attorney to finalize and sign the legal documents that protect your family, like wills and trusts. This isn't just a checklist. This is the act of breathing life into your foundation. An idea on paper is just that, an idea. But an activated plan is a fortress. It's a structure providing tangible protection. This is a profoundly safe step because it transforms abstract concepts into real-world security. It builds what we call constitutional confidence, the deep, quiet assurance that comes from knowing your foundation is in place and working for you right now. Once that fortress is built and your plan is active, the next question is, how do we maintain it? How do we ensure it remains relevant for the rest of your life without falling back into that trap of constant worry? For this, we turn to the energy of our firm's mascot, Shelby the Tortoise. Shelby represents the SafeSimpleSound approach to implementation over time. Shelby embodies a key S3 characteristic: trustworthy steadiness. Think about it. A tortoise isn't frantically reacting to every falling leaf. It isn't darting from side to side with every gust of wind, but it also isn't hibernating, completely oblivious to the changing seasons. Instead, Shelby moves with a steady, deliberate, and purposeful pace. This is the exact energy we bring to what we call the Shelby the Tortoise review. This is a periodic, intentional, and calm process for reviewing your financial constitution. This is not about market timing. It's not about performance chasing. It is a scheduled, protected time to check in and ensure your plan remains aligned with your life. For most families we work with through our SafeSimpleSound practice, this takes the form of a thorough annual review. During this review, we calmly and systematically ask foundational questions. First, have your core values or your most important long-term goals shifted in any meaningful way? Second, has your family situation changed? This could be a marriage, the birth of a child, a divorce, or perhaps a child leaving for college. Third, has your professional life changed significantly? A new job, a major promotion, starting a business, or planning for retirement are all key events. And finally, looking at the plan itself, do the strategies we implemented a year ago still align perfectly with your foundational constitutional principles? This steady cadence is the perfect both-and solution. It provides the stability your plan needs to weather the inevitable storms of the market and the noise of the financial media. At the same time, it provides the structured flexibility to adapt to your personal evolution. This is time coexistence in practice. We are honoring the long-term, sound wisdom of your original constitutional plan while ensuring it coexists harmoniously with your present-day reality. It's a simple, safe, and profoundly effective way to be a responsible steward of your financial life. Now, a scheduled annual review is perfect for steady stewardship. But what happens when a major, unscheduled life event occurs? A new job offer in another state, the birth of twins, an unexpected inheritance. These are moments where the temptation can be strong to feel overwhelmed, to think everything has changed. We need to throw out our plan and start all over again. This is where a core tenet of our constitutional framework becomes incredibly valuable: the principle of integration over abandonment. To illustrate this constitutional principle, let me share a hypothetical scenario that demonstrates how this works in practice. Consider a fictional family, Sarah and Tom. About 3 years ago, they worked through the SafeSimpleSound process to build their financial constitution. They established their emergency fund, got the right amount of term life insurance, started saving consistently for retirement, and had a clear plan. Their foundation was active and secure. They were feeling that constitutional confidence we talked about. Then life unfolds. In the span of about 18 months, 2 major events happen. First, they welcome their first child, a daughter named Lily. Second, Tom gets a major promotion at work that comes with a significant salary increase. Now, their initial human reaction is a mix of joy and a little bit of anxiety. They think, we have a baby now and more income. Our old plan is probably obsolete. We need a new one. This is the abandonment mindset. But because their planning was built on a constitutional framework, they have a different path available. Instead of starting from scratch, they approach these changes through the lens of integration. First, let's look at the birth of Lily. Their core constitutional principle of protecting our loved ones hasn't changed at all. In fact, it's been reinforced. So, they don't abandon their plan. They ask, how do we integrate our new responsibility as parents into our existing framework? Guided by this question, they take a few simple, logical steps. They revisit their life insurance. With a dependent, they realize they need more coverage to ensure Lily would be cared for, so they increase their policy amounts. They meet with an attorney to add a crucial amendment to their constitution, a will that names a legal guardian for Lily, and they open a 529 college savings plan, integrating the new long-term goal of education into their savings strategy. Their foundation wasn't discarded, it was strengthened and expanded. Next, Tom's promotion. The temptation here for many is to simply let lifestyle inflation happen: a bigger house, a more expensive car, more elaborate vacations. Their constitutional principle of living within our means and saving for the future, however, remains their guide. So again, they ask, how do we integrate this new income in a way that aligns with our long-term principles? Instead of just letting the money get absorbed into their monthly spending, they make purposeful decisions. They decide to increase their automatic retirement savings rate from 12% to 15% of their combined income. They create a plan to pay off their student loans 3 years early, and they agree on a modest, intentional increase to their lifestyle budget while directing the majority of the new income toward their goals. They integrated the new resource from a position of strength and purpose. Now, while this story of Sarah and Tom is fictional, it demonstrates how our constitutional framework provides a calm, clear process for navigating change. They didn't have to panic or feel overwhelmed. Their living financial constitution acted as a rudder, allowing them to steer through new waters with confidence. Their foundational principles remained constant, providing stability, while their tactics and strategies adapted, providing flexibility. Through this educational example, you can see the powerful pattern that emerges when you practice integration over abandonment. You build on your success. You adapt from a position of strength, not fear. Your financial life becomes a continuous, evolving story, not a series of disconnected, stressful episodes. And the application of this principle is universal. Whether you're facing these exact situations of having a child or getting a promotion, or something similar like starting a business, caring for an aging parent, or moving across the country, the constitutional process is the same. You pause, you revisit your foundational principles, and you ask that powerful question: how do we integrate this change into the strong plan we already have? This is how a financial plan becomes a true, living document. As we bring today's discussion to a close, let's summarize the key constitutional insights we've covered. We've moved beyond the idea of a financial plan as a static document and embraced the concept of a living financial constitution. This is a both-and solution that provides both the stability of core principles and the flexibility to adapt to life's changes. We began by emphasizing the critical first step, activation. A plan must be moved from paper to reality to provide any real protection. This is the act that builds true constitutional confidence and creates a safe foundation. From there, we introduce the Shelby the Tortoise review. This is our model for steady, calm, and periodic stewardship. It's a simple, scheduled check-in that keeps your plan aligned with your life, embodying the constitutional principle of time coexistence. It protects you from the dual traps of neglect and anxious tinkering. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we explored the principle of integration over abandonment through our hypothetical scenario with Sarah and Tom. We saw how major life events are not a reason to discard your plan, but an opportunity to apply its principles in new and deeper ways, strengthening your financial fortress over time. So, what are some practical steps you can take after listening to this episode? Our S3 framework always connects insight to action. First, if you have a plan, take a moment this week to confirm it is fully active. Are the accounts funded? Are the policies in force? Are the legal documents signed? If not, make that your number one priority. Second, schedule your Shelby the Tortoise review. Put it on your calendar right now for a date 6 or 12 months from today. Treat it like any other important appointment. This simple act creates the structure for long-term success. And third, the next time a significant life event occurs, pause. Before feeling overwhelmed, take a breath and ask that constitutional question. How do we integrate this change in a way that honors our core principles? Ultimately, a living financial constitution does more than just serve you today. Its true power lies in its ability to serve all the stakeholders in your life across time. It provides you with peace of mind. It ensures your family's protection is never outdated, creating a legacy of security. And it builds a durable bridge between the person you are today and the secure, confident future self you want to become. This episode draws from our recent blog post, Your Living Financial Constitution, Activating and Adapting Your Risk Plan for Life, which you can find at SafeSimpleSound.com for the complete written framework. Through our S3 approach development, we've refined these processes to help families navigate their financial lives with clarity and confidence. If today's safe, simple, and sound insights resonate with your family's situation, we invite you to explore what constitutional financial planning could look like through our Safe, Simple, Sound practice by scheduling a discovery call on our website. Either way, you're now equipped with the constitutional capability to view your financial plan not as a static document to be filed away, but as a living, breathing guide that can serve you, your family, and your future for a lifetime. Thank you for joining us on the Safe, Simple, Sound podcast.